Hi, this is Debbie
Take
Portell
7.
with Integrity Training Systems, Healthy Living with Integrity Training Systems.
We need to hire someone who goes, action.
Right, and if you have been trying to watch this through Facebook Live, we apologize in advance for the technical difficulties that we've had today, but this is kind of a new situation for us, and we've been doing a radio show for the past 6 years with FM News Talk 97.1. We drive up to the radio station, we go in and we sit down and talk. So we're now learning.
It's just radio.
Right, so. Right, exactly. We're now learning how to effectively get this data over to you guys so that you guys can hear us, first of all, and that you can see us properly and not have us upside down while seeing us. But for those of you that are watching on the Facebook Live, the plan is that this Facebook Live is really just to prompt you to look for us on SoundCloud and to look for us on Apple Podcasts. So this actual Facebook Live will be posted on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts as soon as we're finished. And instead of doing our radio show every Sunday at 2 o'clock, we will be doing this particular live Facebook Live, as well as sending that recording to the Apple Podcast and to SoundCloud. So each week you can still hear our radio show, you'll just be hearing it as a podcast. For those of you that have not heard of us or have not taken a look at us, please take a look at us at integritytraininggroup.com. We have a tab that's called Podcast, and you can go back years and years and listen to the radio show with Roger and myself. I am the owner of Integrity Training Systems. I've worked with Roger. He was the owner of the fitness center when I worked for Powerhouse Gym many years ago, and he's been in the fitness industry for over 30 years. Him and I have both worked together to help clients with their nutrition as well as their fitness needs. I was also the fitness manager at his fitness center and then kind of grew my business out of Powerhouse Gym. It's a big part of how and why I've been able to become what I've become. But the radio show started because of Powerhouse. They gave us the opportunity, Powerhouse gave me the opportunity to be able to go on the radio, and that's how we got this started. Today, our show is sponsored by Ofallon Nutrition, OffallonNutrition.com. They are my local go-to for supplements, and Roger also sends folks there as well. They're right here in Ofallon, Missouri, just located right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. Ofallon Nutrition has been in business and independently owned and operated for over 15 years, and the owners are clients of our facility, but they're just wonderful people that have a very similar thought process as I do. So when I send clients to the store, I can confidently know that they're going to get what they need, they're going to get their questions answered, and honestly, they're going to get more information than even I can give them because their staff is so skilled and so knowledgeable. For years, and I know you've been in the same situation, Roger, but for years I've been sending folks to local supplement stores, and those local supplement stores are just simply what was available. I mean, it was just what we could find, because at times we couldn't always send our clients to a Whole Foods or something like that, and many years ago we didn't have lots of those stores either to work with. So over the years, we've sent people to these supplement stores, and instead of the client walking in with a list and saying, this is what I need, and being met with someone who is in agreement and has the same thought process as us, our clients would normally get talked out of what we would suggest, get talked into a product that we honestly didn't believe in and wouldn't suggest, and sometimes we'd go home with those products and end up having responses negatively to those products. So for me, it is refreshing to know that when my client is having an issue and needs a product, they can go down there, and I know if I don't have it in, pen to pad, they're going to end up with a really great product. They're very strict on the products that they choose at Ofallon Nutrition. It reminds me a lot of like a Whole Foods store because they really don't allow very specific ingredients in their food. So they're very specific about, their choices. The neat thing about Ofallon Nutrition is that this is not just a supplement store. This is a place that you can go and get groceries. You can get salad dressing. You can get different seasonings. You can get deodorant, skincare, essential oils, and grass-fed beef, and along with all of your supplements. If you're in need or if you have not made the trip to Ofallon Nutrition, I cannot recommend them enough. It is OffallonNutrition.com, or for information on specifics in terms of if they have something in stock, or if you'd like to have something shipped to you, which is free if it's an order that's $50 or over, you can give them a call at 636-240-5283. Again, that's OffallonNutrition.com. Today's podcast is what are you feeding your mind, body, and spirit? And a lot of times when you're working in the fitness industry as a personal trainer, or you're a nutrition coach or a health coach, people are going to come to you and they're going to be goal chasers, and they're so involved in, I want this amount of weight loss, I want it by this date, I want this goal, I want to be able to do it by this point. And we get paid to help people to accomplish that. But over my years of being in fitness, and Roger, you can chime in as well, what I have noticed is that, one of the biggest things I've learned is that as a person gets to that goal and truly accomplishes what they've set out to accomplish, in most cases, they're still not really terribly, satisfied. They're seeking something else. They're not really 100% where they want to be. They're always kind of still looking for what that next goal is going to be. And once they've accomplished that goal, they don't always know how to get past and where to go at that point. Now I've made it, so how do I stay secure within my eating, or how do I stay secure with how I'm feeling now that I've actually accomplished that goal? So what we've tended to do is we've tended to be a lifestyle chaser instead of a number chaser, instead of a let's get 30 pounds off of you in 30 days chaser, or a contest chaser. We've really tried to help people to understand the difference between creating a healthy lifestyle and achieving a goal. So one of the ways that I like to look at things, and I've learned this through a certification and also just through all my studies over the years, is looking at food and looking at your health in two different ways. So there's a primary food and there's a secondary food. And the primary food is, in my opinion, more important than the secondary food, because if it's not right, the secondary food will never be right. So you can get yourself to a point where you can get that weight off that you initially want, but if your primary food is not correct, you won't be able to sustain the weight loss. And what does the primary food mean? The primary food is what you're feeding your mind. So secondary food is what you're feeding your body. So secondary food is going to be your nutrients. That's going to be your fats, your carbs, and your proteins. Primary food is what feeds your mind every day. What is your self-talk? What type of love are you experiencing in your life? What type of company do you keep, and who do you spend your time around, and how does that affect you? What type of mood do you carry throughout your day? And most importantly, what type of faith do you have? Like, what do you actually serve with your life? Are you living a life of intention? Do you feel like you're actually serving something other than yourself, other than a more impressive selfie, or is that all you're chasing after? Looking better and appearing better in a swimsuit and dropping more weight every month. What I've learned over the years is that we can help you drop the weight all day long. That's our job. We know how to do it. If you need to drop the weight in a month, you probably couldn't be with a better group of people here. Roger and I can help you do that. But securing the weight loss and sustaining the weight loss and ensuring that you're going to be able to keep the weight loss, it takes work and it takes discipline. And it's a matter of understanding, my first note there, what do you feed your mind? Every day, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on how much weight you still have to lose? Or are you focusing on how much weight you have lost and how much better you feel because of the weight loss? Are you talking to yourself in such a way that you actually discredit yourself on a daily basis? I'm overweight. I'm too fat. I've always been fat. I'm an emotional eater. I've always failed at diets. I've always been an emotional eater. Is this how you're talking to yourself? Are you setting yourself up for failure every single day with the way that you describe yourself? Or are you saying to yourself, I will accomplish this. I will change the way I eat. I will change the way I see food. I will change the way I speak about myself. I'm an overcomer. I am able, and I'm going to love myself enough to feed myself quality food, and I'm going to see it as an act of obedience through my faith, because I'm going to honor God in doing that, because I know that He can use me more when I'm bringing the right food into my body. So that self-talk is huge. That is your primary food. If your self-talk is terrible, it doesn't matter how great the diet is that Roger and I come up with for you. You're going to work yourself out of whatever result we get you to. At some point, you're going to be right back in someone else's door a year later trying to get that same weight off again. You're going to keep doing it for the rest of your life because you keep talking to yourself with the wrong instructions. You keep telling yourself the wrong things about yourself. So it's about confidence. But sometimes, even when you're not confident, I always say you have to faith it until you make it. Sometimes you just got to be repetitive, and you got to brainwash yourself into believing that you're worthy. You're more than enough. You're able and well able to do this and well able to accomplish this. I always suggest reading the Bible because there's only truth in there. So when you start to read that you're more than a conqueror, that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, you become mightier. You're strong and courageous. I mean, it's impossible to read those things and to not, to some extent, feel like I can be a better person because of this. So that self-talk is so important. From a primary food perspective, what kind of love are you experiencing in your life? It matters. Because if you're sincerely in a position in your life where you do not have any positive affection, or you do not have any positive love coming in, or you're in a relationship that is damaging and it's holding you back, then you've got to look at that the same way that you looked at, I've got to change my food. I have to get on this diet. I have to clean things out. I have to detox my body. Those are all important things. But you know what? You have to detox your life the same exact way. That relationship or that inability to attract the right type of love, it's going to hold you back, and it will keep you emotional eating for the rest of your life. So pay attention to the company that you're keeping. When you go out to dinner at night, if you're going out to dinner with people that overeat and drink too much, and you're trying not to drink and you're trying to stay strict on your food, you got to figure out who you should be spending your time with. That doesn't mean you have to unfriend those people and be rude to them, but you do also have to understand that they are going to have an impact on how you do things. So the company you keep can make a huge difference. When I talk about feeding your mind and consistently feeding your mind with the right type of food, I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about, again, if you have to brainwash yourself with the right information, a positive affirmation, a Bible scripture, a sermon, a motivational video on YouTube, a podcast like this, do it nonstop. Don't listen to negative news. Don't watch something on TV until your mind can be strong enough that this stuff starts to sink in and you really start to see changes. Now, that's the primary food. The secondary food that you're feeding your body is what we talk about all the time. The right nutrients, the right balance of carbs, the right balance of fats, the right balance of proteins, and just making sure that your energy is staying stable throughout the day and staying sustained. How is that happening? You're getting the right balance of all those foods in. If you're not getting the right balance of all those foods in, you're going to have energy lulls throughout the day. That's why you need to hire someone like us so we can create that balance for you so you don't have those energy lulls. Now, blood sugar control, secondary food. Are you eating the right balance of nutrients so that you have controlled blood sugar all throughout the day? There goes your steady energy if you're not. So understanding these things is so important, and you can't put all that on a magazine article or on a podcast. You need to hire someone professionally that can sit down with you, break that down, and tell you exactly what you need to eat in order to make that happen. Brain balance is so important. Talking about what you feed yourself and what you're feeding your mind is important, but when it comes down to secondary food, understanding that the right balance of nutrients is going to affect your brain balance as well, meaning that your neurotransmitter levels are going to be off if you don't have the correct balance of fats, carbs, and proteins. Anything about all that earful, Roger? I'd love to hear your opinion on it. I mean, that's my take, and that primary and secondary food came from a certification that I did, but it's not about is it primary, is it secondary. It's about that mind, body, spirit connection and realizing that it can't just all be about what food you take in, calories, carbs, and fats. There's more to it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's being able to set your life up in a certain pattern to where you can continue that pattern and making it to where it's a very livable lifestyle.
Right.
I think the next thing we were going to talk about was fad diets, and I think this kind of relates and goes into that, um, in how someone creates habits. And I think that's kind of what we help people do,
Right.
is help them break out of the weight gain habit and help them break into the weight loss habit.
Right.
And in understanding enough about food, you can just kind of take what a person's kind of doing now and tweak it and just basically make them fall into the same habits but with a different outcome.
Right. And there's a big difference between an actual nutrition program and learning nutritional balance in your body and following a fad diet. And so, Roger was going to discuss, how to be successful in dealing with different types of diets, how to make it work or not work if you're going to try to do a diet like this. But I think the one thing that you want to pay attention to is you can jump from diet to diet to diet, but until you really learn and understand what that nutritional balance needs to be for you and for your body, none of those diets will ever really sustain you, and it'll just be diet hopping. And I do agree again, from hopping from fad diet to fad diet, if you go back to that initial discussion, if you don't get that primary food right, you're going to keep hopping from diet to diet because you will keep adding that weight back on. So putting a person in a position, if a person comes to you, Roger, and they say, I've done this 6 times, I've gained the weight, lost the weight, gained the weight, lost the weight, gained the weight, lost the weight. I've heard great things about this diet, that diet, I need some help. Is that something that you can help me with? Of course, it's something that you can help them with, but how do you get them past this not being the 7th time that they've lost weight and gained it back again?
I always suggest people hire somebody
Right.
and then do what that person tells them what to do.
Right.
Because the thing about it is diets usually work, and it's usually people that fail. And so what the this time of year, people try fad diets, and basically, first thing you want to do is define what a fad diet is.
Right.
Fad diet's what everybody else is doing because somebody else did it.
Yeah.
That's a fad. Pretty simple.
Right.
But having so many different fad diets out there, I was hearing somebody on the radio talk about fad diets yesterday and how devastatingly bad they are and stuff like that. Well, they don't have to be.
Right.
Pretty much all the diets are kind of fad diets because at one time they were popular,
Yes.
and other times they're not popular. But what I always try to do is take the best fad diets that fix a person's nutritional needs and problems and mix those with other fad diets. In other words, a really popular, I have one couple right now. The guy's wanting to kind of gain some body fat. Gain some muscle and lose some body fat. She's just wanting to be as skinny mini as possible. And so what I've done is actually taken like 5 different fad diets, as people say, and blended them together for a completely nutritional basis. The best way to do that is kind of, instead of looking at food on a plate-to-plate scale or a meal-to-meal scale, look at it from a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis.
Right.
So let's just say what everybody talks about, the perfect diet is called a balanced diet. We've all heard of a balanced diet. That means you eat a little bit of this, you eat a little bit of that, and you eat a little bit of this, and you mix it all together. I think most of the people would describe it as something like the zone diet or the Mediterranean diet or the isocaloric diet, to where you're taking about 1/3 protein and calories, 1/3 carbohydrates, and 1/3 fat, and blending it all together and saying, it's a balanced diet.
Right.
Okay, fine. Let's do that. Okay? Let's say that we're going to take a fad diet, which a popular one now everybody's talking about because it's featured on the TV last week on, I think, Good Morning America or something, that how bad the Atkins diet is for somebody, the ketogenic diet. It's bad, 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 horrible, 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 horrible. Usually people that say that are the ones talking about the opposite of a ketogenic diet,
Right.
which would be a low-fat diet. Again, let's just take the ketogenic diet. Again, all diets have a problem. All diets are going to have a restriction. Even a balanced diet is going to have something in restriction. what we try to do in designing a nutrition program is taking the different diets and blending them together to where on a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis, a person's getting a little bit of everything.
Right.
So, for instance, going
Makes
back to
sense
this,
for their body too.
yeah, going back to this one couple, I've got him on 5 days worth of ketogenic program, and then 2 days of a no meat, almost all carbohydrate, low fat diet. So whenever you really take the whole week and add it together, when it comes down to calorie for calorie and the thermodynamics of the way the calories work, pretty much he's eating about 1/3 protein, about 1/3 fat, and about 1/3 carbohydrates.
Right.
Ta-da! There you go. Balanced 100% in a 7-day period.
Right.
There isn't anything out there saying that we have to balance each plate that we do. Now, the positive of this is the fact that the hardest thing to do when you're dealing with a balanced diet is you're actually dealing with 3 different food items 2 to 5 times a day, depending on your eating schedule. So you're actually dealing with 10, 15 different foods that you're having to put on plates to have throughout the day. The advantage of dealing with diets to where you're doing it day by day, you're dealing with 1 or 2 items throughout the day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're not having to juggle all this different product and getting it in the right places, and it makes it really pretty easy that way. And again, by the end of the week, whenever you look back at everything, guess what? It's all balanced out. You got about 1/3 protein, about 1/3 fat, and about 1/3 carbohydrates. Simple. And you get accelerated results doing it that way also.
Right. And I think, so that being said, so you balance this out for them and you give them a gauge of how they should be doing it and what they should be doing. Again, though, how do you keep the person from being, getting to that situation where it's the 7th time that they gain weight again? Yeah, maybe they do your diet and they lose weight and they do it. What has to switch in them to not gain the weight back again?
That comes down to the you can't eat pizza forever rule. Okay, what that means is if you give the person the favorite food and that's the only food that they can eat, within about 2 weeks they're sick of that food.
Right.
Okay.
They need a new favorite
That's what
food.
happens with the diet.
Yeah.
And that's why, again, people like Debbie and myself, we basically blend different diets together to where you're kind of doing something different every other day or so.
Right.
And again, Monday through Friday it's one diet, Saturday and Sunday it's a different diet, depending on your schedule, kind of dictates that.
Right.
Let's say if a person travels, they have an eating program for when they travel, and they have an eating program for when they're at home. And they're different.
Right.
Okay, and everybody's like, well, I'm always eating the exact same thing all the time. No, you're not. That's not true, because you're eating this on this day and this on another day.
Right.
But then I'll repeat it again on Wednesday. At some point, when you're dealing with real food, you're going to come back around to it.
Yeah.
Then you're just complaining to complain.
Yeah.
Okay, that's whenever you get the old rule that says, just shut up and do it.
Right.
Okay? Again, all this kind of boils down to these different rules that we have that we basically install into somebody, just help them along. But how do you keep a person from doing it again and again and again? If you do one diet and then you go off of that diet and do whatever you want, guess what?
You're going to gain it back.
You're going to get it back because you went into the pattern of exactly what it took to get you there. You went out of the pattern to get you out of it. You went into the pattern. You turn your steering wheel to the right real hard, guess what? You end up in the ditch. Turn your steering wheel to the left, you're probably going to get out of the ditch. Go down the road a little ways, turn it to the right, get back in the ditch. It's just the way it works.
Right.
Okay? What I always suggest to people is you have different phasings of diets. You have one season for weight loss, one season for muscle gain, one season for weight loss, one season. And so you're always going from one diet to another diet to another diet.
Yeah.
But when you say, I'm going to diet really hard for 21 days, but then what?
And you're just going to eat garbage again.
Well, yeah, you're just going to go back to not having a plan.
Yeah.
I went from a very strict, controlled plan, and it worked. What do you know?
Right.
To not having a plan, and it didn't work.
Right.
Guess what? Following a plan, almost 100 times out of 100 times, it's going to work. Not following a plan, 100 times out of 100 times, it ain't going to work. Okay? So again, it's basically, what am I going to do next? This is where we come into, you use one diet for a few days, you use another diet for a few days, you use another diet for a few days, and they all work really well. Period. Or they wouldn't be fads. They must have worked for somebody.
Right.
Period. You could even do this. You could do all fruits and vegetables one day. You could do all meats the next day. You could all do nuts the next day, and then just repeat the cycle. That's really pretty simple.
Yeah, but the reality is that I think people just want that immediate response of, I want my result. So I'll
You would still get the result. You
I'll
would
do
still
whatever
100%.
it takes. Yeah.
You would still get the results because you're taking, even let's say you can fast for one day, eat fruits and vegetables the next day, eat meats the next day, and nuts the next day. You're actually taking 5 different fad diets, blending them all together and making your own diet and having something different every day.
And there's no real end to it. So given that you have lost your weight and you accomplished it in your 30 days or you accomplished it in your 60 days, there has to be a point where you get to an understanding that you don't actually have a cutoff. That doesn't release you to go back, because what you were doing before wasn't working, or your body wouldn't have been inflamed and you wouldn't have put all that weight on. So you have to recognize that going back that's not a step in the direction you want to head in. So the way to keep from putting that weight back on, or the way to keep from going back into a failing pattern, is to set yourself up for success for the future. If you want to try to follow a fad diet, or you want to try to do something for short term, then do it. But you need someone to help you to monitor that, because it may not be the healthiest thing for you to be doing long term, and you may need to have that readjusted. But long term, and I mean life term, lifelong, you have to look at your life and your health differently. It can't just be about what calories am I taking in, what carbs am I taking in, what fats am I taking in, and what proteins am I taking in. Those are all very important things, and they do really balance, and they do really help you to be able to feel better, but that can't be the only focus that you're having. Health is not just what you're eating. It's what you're thinking, it's what you're hearing, it's what you're living. So your lifestyle has a lot to do with how healthy you end up being. So when I talk about primary food and I talk about secondary food, you've got to pay attention to what you feed your mind, that self-talk on a regular basis, the company that you keep, and just keep reminding yourself that you staying healthy is not just about those calories that you're taking in. We help you with the proper balance of those calories. We help you to get to where we help you to understand what are the right ones that you should be consuming, what will do the best, for you to be able to lose weight, what will do the best for you to be able to gain muscle and for you to be able to have the most energy. But yet, at the end of the day, if you're not doing those other things, you're going to keep falling back. No one is going to stay successful long term that goes home and just beats themselves down in their brain every day about how bad of a job that they're doing. So
I always tell myself I'm doing a great job.
Well, that's why you continue to do a great job.
There you
But
go.
that self-talk is huge.
I get home and I'm awesome.
It's huge. It's so important. And there's so much more to it. That's something that we try to teach people and that we really work with people on, is their spirit. So when we say mind, body, spirit, we mean it. There's more to it. And of course, there's a faith component to that. But the biggest thing is really what environment are you in every day? What are you allowing yourself to listen to? What are you allowing yourself to watch? What are you surrounding yourself with? And what are you speaking to yourself on a daily basis? I always love the quotes that talk about falling in love with just taking care of yourself. Like getting to a point to where it's contagious. To where, you've gotten a person, like when we first start working with a person, Roger, and we've gotten them to that point to where it's been like 3 to 6 weeks, and they can really feel the inflammation go down. Suddenly, they're not having the same histamine responses. Their joints are responding positively. Their allergies are responding positively. They might really just have decreased their digestive issues. Like there's a lot of positive things happening, and all of a sudden they can feel their health, and their health has changed dramatically. And they have that moment where they can say, I'm more mentally clear, I have more energy, and my health is significantly better. What you want to do is you want to take that feeling And that's what you want to chase after every single day. That's what the objective is to try to accomplish that feeling on a regular basis. We try to do our best to explain the science behind the food to help you to understand what it takes to go from being in that healthy, unhealthy state and having all those symptoms to suddenly being in this healthy state minus all those symptoms. But yet we still have so many people that take an unhealthy approach to taking care of their body, and they come in and it's just about, well, what can I eat to get myself looking better for this vacation? What can I eat to get myself looking better for a bodybuilding show? What can I eat? Whatever. And it has nothing to do with getting themselves to a place where they start feeling better. But the reality of is the people that we work with that really stick with that. And I've noticed in what I've done, the folks that really feel that feeling and have that shift, those are the ones that stick with it. Those are the ones that it becomes a real lifestyle change, And what does it take to feel that, Roger? Like, what does it take to get to that point to where you can really wrap your head around, I'm a different person now. I don't look at food the same. I don't feel the same from food. My health has changed because of this.
Yeah, I always put that under the rule that goes to crap, good, better, best. And what that means is a lot of times when people first come to see us, they feel like crap about themselves. They feel horrible. I don't want to feel this way, and I'm going to die if I don't stop feeling this way.
Right.
We work on stuff, and I know exactly where they should be in a year, 2 years, something like that. But at some point, the people get to a point to where they're good with themselves. They're okay with stuff.
Right.
Okay? Let's say somebody has 100 pounds to lose, and they really have 100 pounds to lose. They might lose 50 pounds. They might lose 60 pounds. And all of a sudden, they just completely stop losing weight.
Right.
They don't really gain weight, but they don't lose any more weight. And we know that they have 50 or 60 pounds that they could lose if they wanted to. Well, the amount of effort that it takes to go from feeling like crap to I feel okay or good, it's not that hard.
Right.
But in actuality, to go from good, better to best takes a lot more dig. It takes a lot more effort.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, they're okay just with being okay.
Right.
That's okay. But at some point, sometimes people say, well, I'm not okay with okay anymore.
Right.
I actually feel like crap about myself, like I did when I actually felt like crap.
Right.
And then they get in and dig a little bit harder, and they move a little bit further and stuff like that. And that's okay too. But whenever a person gets to that point, again, I always tell people, continue to hire someone.
Right.
You need an accountability coach. You need somebody there to keep you accountable, even if you only come see them once every couple of months or so.
Right.
Don't lose that contact.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Or go on to the next person. That's fine too. Okay? There are people out there, some of them aren't real good.
Right.
I know Debbie's one of the best there is, so keep going to her.
Nice.
What you learn from me.
Well, I appreciate
yeah.
That's
So again, it's kind of one of those things that whenever a person gets to a certain point, it's okay with just being okay.
Right. And I think that you have to understand the team component to it, and realizing that falling in love with caring for yourself means that you also have to invest in yourself. You have to be willing to invest in yourself. Hiring someone is a version of investing in yourself. Cooking clean food, buying clean ingredients, that's a version of investing in yourself. Getting yourself to a point to where you say, I'm not going to the gym. I'm not getting on my treadmill at home. Hiring a person that holds you accountable and makes sure that you get your exercise in, that's a means of investing in yourself. Taking it to a different level by using a massage therapist, by using cryotherapy, by going to a sauna, by doing one of those float spas, by doing the type of thing that it's going to take your health from here to here, I've always found is what really gets that person in a position to go to that next level with their health. And the reality of it is that you need a team to do that. So we work with folks. We work with Pure Plates. If you're struggling at prepping your food, go to Pure Plates, pureplatesstl.com. You cannot ask for an easier situation. if one of the hardest things for you is to take the time to cook, if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, if you're never home, get a situation like Pure Plates where you're having your food prepared for you. It tastes great. It's organic. It's excellent food. It's going to set you up for success. This is part of your team. So this is the way you invest in yourself. You don't see it as a downfall. You see it as these resources are out there for a reason. This is my way to care for myself. This is my way to fall in love with caring for myself. I'm going to invest in myself by buying this type of food. And we do truly believe in Pure Plates and highly recommend them. Pure Plates has a couple locations. I've been using Pure Plates for years, and given that I have an autoimmune disease, that's saying something. So I learned a long time ago that if I don't have the time to prep my food, I'm not going to be successful. So I have to have food made. I cannot just randomly stop by a fast food place. I cannot just randomly stop by a restaurant. I have to invest in having my food made. I'm too busy. I work all the time. And when I'm not working, I'm taking care of my child and I'm cooking for my child. And then I have a giant that lives in our house and I have to feed the giant. So I pay someone to cook my food. We pay for John's during the week, during the day food with Pure Plates. We make sure that we have good, clean food. We've invested in that. I'll work an extra hour so that I have the money to be able to pay Pure Plates to make my food, because I know I'm not going to get sick on that food, but I know I'm also going to have a balanced day. My energy is going to stay steady. I'm going to feel regulated throughout the day because I'm getting the right food that I need to get in. For more consideration, if that's part of a team that you want to build, you need help with that prep, go to Pure Plates. Stop by their store. They have one down in Kirkwood. They have one in Chesterfield. Just go in and get some meals and figure out a way to get meals for the week so that you don't have to cook anything, and see how you feel at the end of the week. That is a strong team member. That's the type of person you want to have on your team working for you. Someone like Roger and I making the suggestion for the food. That's the type of person that you want to have working with you. Another person that I personally have on my team, in which we also suggest, is Dr. Bligh. I go to Dr. Bligh because he's proactive with me. He is someone that tries to figure out how I can take the next step to be as healthy as possible. I'm investing in me. I'm investing in my health. I'm investing in being a better person by going to someone like Dr. Richard Bligh, because I can do glutathione therapy. I can do stem cells. I can do hormone replacement therapy. He is always looking at the next level or the next step for me. My mom had a heart attack this summer, and my dad had a heart attack 8 years ago. I called Dr. Bligh and I said, Dr. Bligh, I want to make sure I'm doing okay. I want some tests run. He sent me out for this scan, of which my insurance wouldn't pay for it. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't even expensive, and I would have never thought that I could do a scan like that. It wasn't expensive at all. Honest to goodness, I wouldn't have believed how inexpensive it would be. And I was able to tell the amount of calcium that I have built up. Thank the Lord, I really am okay. I didn't have any issues. And then he used Cleveland Clinic and ran so many different tests when it came to inflammation and cardiovascular disease on me. I've never had that type of stuff done with just a regular primary care physician. Now, I'm not saying that they're not out there and that they're not doing it, but Dr. Bligh takes it to a completely different level. To get the flu and to go to his office and to be able to get a glutathione injection and to feel better on the drive home from that glutathione injection, there's just something to that. So when you're thinking about investing in yourself and building a team, that's your team. That's your scenario. Someone like us to do your food, a personal trainer to hold you accountable for the exercise, someone like Dr. Richard Bligh to hold you accountable for your medicine, someone like Pure Plates to prepare the food for you. Even Ofallon Nutrition is a team, because you go there and you're not sure what probiotics you need to get. You're not sure, how you need to be able to prepare your food. They've got sauce suggestions. You're not sure what deodorant you should be using. This is a means for sustainable, good, positive results. And it's just good self-care. And it's just a means for investing in a lifetime of having that good self-care.
I always explain it kind of like it's like hiring an interior director designer for your body.
Yeah.
So again, if you go out and hire an interior designer, they basically go out, they know the furniture people, they know the electrical guy, they know the door guy, they know the window guy, they know all these people. If they don't, there's no reason to hire them.
Right.
That's kind of like what we do. We know the where to get the food. We know where to get the supplements. We know where to get the exercise. We know even if you need a piece of equipment for your home, we know that guy.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Again, it's knowing exactly where to go to these things at a snap.
Instead of trying to navigate it all by yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to a podcast earlier this morning, and the guy's talking about all these people think they're on ketogenic diets when really they're just on a 150 gram carb per day paleo diet, but they think they're on a ketogenic diet because at one point they were consuming 200 to 300 grams of carbs, and since they went down to 150 grams of carbs, they think they're on a ketogenic diet, and they couldn't be further from being on a ketogenic diet. The reality of it is that you need someone to navigate you through this process. You need to not feel like it's something that you need to do on your own. Each of you have your own profession, and you're great at that profession. And there's a reason why you get paid to do what you do. You want to invest in you. When you invest in your health, you invest in your lifetime. You invest in being a better mother, a better father. You invest in being a better student and being better at your job and to be able to take yourself to a different level. This really, truly matters. It certainly comes down to self-discipline and making the decision, because we could tell you what to do all day long. So could Dr. Bligh. Pure Plates could make the food for you. Ofallon Nutrition could sell you the supplements. But you have to go home and actually take those supplements. You have to eat the Pure Plates food instead of the ice cream that you have in the refrigerator. You know, you have to listen to what Dr. Bligh says, and you have to actually do the things that he tells you to do. I don't know, but they should get rid of it. Yeah. And then you have to come in, you have to let us write down what you need to eat, and you need to look at that, and you need to say, I'm going to do this. You know, I'm going to do this every single day. And it just starts with one step, one choice. The choice to come here and to have someone help you navigate it. The choice to come here and to be assessed by a trainer and to have someone help you to exercise pain-free and to do it the right way and to get the right type of results. The choice to go and say, I'm not just going to buy garbage from an infomercial. I'm going to go down to Ofallon Nutrition and listen to people that really know what they're talking about. The choice to stop by Pure Plates and say, I'm not going to go into my week this week having no idea what I'm going to eat this week. I'm going to stop by and get 5 meals. And then I'm going to at least have the next 3 days covered of what I'm going to eat. If I haven't been feeling well and I haven't been getting the answers that I need to get from my doctor and I keep going in circles and I'm still having the same issues, I'm going to go see someone like Dr. Bligh and I'm going to start to get those results. But guess what? This team of all of that together, you've just produced the ability to create a lifestyle change, a lifelong lifestyle change, because Roger and I can ride with you over every bump in the road, over every curve that you go through, over every tragedy, over every positive thing, every new baby, every new house, retirement, whatever phase or whatever season you go through in your life. We know what it's going to take to change your food. All of those other people in that team know what it's going to take to be able to assist you with it. It's up to you at this point. So if you're deciding to be chintzy or to be a miser, this is the worst area to decide to not care for yourself. Mind, body, spirit. That means someone that can help you to learn to feed your mind with the right data, to speak to yourself right, to listen to the right information, to understand that your health is about what you feed your mind and the relationships that you allow yourself to be in. And if they're unhealthy ones, then the person that's coaching you should be coaching you to help you to realize that that's poisoning you just like anything else, okay? Then, you know, that's part of your spirit. That's how to feed that spirit and how to feed your mind. But that spirit, man, is looking for intent and a way of living an intentional life. And in my opinion, faith is an intentional life. Making the decision that I will serve God in all that I do and in all of my choices means that I wake up every day living according to that call and purpose that He has for my life. And that's a life of intention. And then your body. just waking up and understanding it's not going to get any better if you don't start taking care of it. You need to stretch, you need to foam roll, you need to do mobility exercises, weight training, and cardio. Get all of them in and have someone instruct you on how to do that. Learning from us on how to eat. It is a lifetime change. It's not just a quick fix. It's not just to lose the weight. It's learning it for a lifetime. Understanding what we do takes time. That's why we work with you for 5 months. Our nutrition program is a 5-month nutrition program where we will tell you exactly what to eat, where to buy it from, how to prepare it, what to order when you eat out, what to do when you travel, what you should be drinking, and any vitamins and minerals you should be taking. We will also help you to navigate just through that whole emotional component of it, and understanding that there could be a block when it comes to your spirit and when it comes to your mind, and that you have to learn how to feed those properly too. That's a big part of what we do and how we teach you to change your lifestyle. For more information on that nutrition program with us, you can take a look at us at integritytraininggroup.com. To schedule a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers at our Ofallon, Missouri location or our Clayton location, you can call us today at 636-299-2208, where we will assess and identify any muscle imbalances that you have, any postural deviations that you have, and get you ready to exercise correctly, and to understand that those imbalances you have, they're going to limit how strong you can actually be. So you're only going to go as far as those imbalances allow you to go. And at some point, those imbalances are probably going to turn into an injury, which is going to end up being a wall or a complete block for you to be able to get where you want to go with your body. So let us help you with that free personal fitness assessment. We have until the end of January, but we are currently offering 3 personal training sessions for $150. And our sessions normally start at $65 to $60 a session. So that's a great savings. You can still come in for that free personal fitness assessment, but that's a great way to get started on personal training. We also start our second group of group nutrition, and it is a 6-month program. And you will come in, and every Saturday you will spend an hour learning nutrition the way you did through this podcast, very thoroughly, with a group of 10. We also do group exercises. There's more information about that on our Instagram and on our Facebook page. Again, it's integritytraininggroup.com for our website. Friend me at Debbie Portell on Facebook and Instagram, or just go out to Integrity Training Systems on Facebook and Instagram. Roger, anything else you want to add for all that information? I'd love to hear from you if you got anything else.
That's it for me for today.
Well,
hire somebody and go from diet to diet. That's fine too.
And just understand
just
that,
do something.
that you don't have to go through the process alone. There are qualified people that are very able and willing to help you to change your life with food. But it takes more than just a balance of nutrients to do it. You are going to feed the body, but you do have to feed that mind, body, and spirit to really get this down to the detail where you can truly change your lifestyle and not just keep chasing goals. Thank you all for listening, and God bless you.